Hey everyone, how you doing? Today I'm going to go right into showing you all the keyboard shortcuts that you will need to know to increase your workflow and your productivity on Ubuntu 22.04. A lot of these shortcuts will also work on GNOME desktop, no matter what operating system you're running. And before I get started, if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Alright, so without more further ado, let's get right into it. So our first keyboard shortcut is Control-Alt and then the arrow key. This will switch the desktop, so if you had, for example, a window on this desktop, you could then go to the desktop with just simply Control-Alt and then the arrow key. Something that will go along with this is adding the Shift key, which will grab the window and bring it with you to the next desktop, so that you can bring your window to whatever desktop you'd like. This is better than having to press the Windows key or Super key and having to move this over. Speaking of the Super key, you know how when you press it, it brings you up here. The touchpad shortcut to do this is 3 fingers and swipe down. But you might also know that there's the app drawer up here if you keep on swiping, or if you go to your applications, show applications button. But what you might not have known is that you can press the Super key twice in a row and it'll bring you right there. Here's a keyboard shortcut for navigation. If you're constantly switching applications, you may know about Alt-Tab, but Ubuntu actually works better with SUPER+TAB. And I'll tell you why in a second. So you might know that Alt-Tab switches between applications, and you can keep pressing Tab to choose the application, or just press it once to keep switching between the last 2 applications that you've used. And then you can do Alt-tilde to only switch between windows in the current application. But SUPER+TAB and SUPER+tilde work better because it's more integrated. Let me show you. SUPER+TAB brings you between these applications. But if you actually keep holding down Super and then do tilde, you can actually go in between these and then press Tab to go out of these. If you don't do it this way and you choose to do Alt, you may notice that if you do the tilde, it doesn't do anything, and you have to go out separately, and then doing the Tab doesn't do anything either. So if you maybe misclick or are trying to get there fast, and then you maybe want to go, oh, well, let me see which one. You can keep doing SUPER+TAB, SUPER+tilde, and it works a lot better than Alt-Tab and Alt-tilde. You may know that you can screen record or screenshot by typing screenshot and clicking over here and then doing this. Well, another way to do this is Control-Alt-Shift-R, and this will start screen recording interactively. So now you can choose, the area you want, or you can make it do the entire screen or a certain window if you're screenshotting. But if you're screen recording, you can't do a certain window, but you can screen record or screenshot. Speaking of screenshotting, you can do Shift and the print screen button or the print button, and it will take a screenshot. You won't get any notification, but you will find it in your files in pictures/screenshots. Something that goes along with this is doing Alt print screen, which only takes a screenshot of the current window. Here you can see on the right I have my full screen screenshot, and on the left I have my single window screenshot. You also may notice that on the edges it is actually transparent, so that there's not a random white background. So now you are able to actually put this anywhere you want if you're making a graphic or something like that. It includes all of the round borders and everything because of this amazing transparency. And something else that I like about this is if you have a window that actually is transparent, like my terminal windows, because I've customized them to be transparent, that'll actually be transparent behind there, as you can see with the checkerboard. If you frequently go to your notifications, there's a shortcut for that. You can press Super V, and then you will get into your notifications really fast, and then press it again to dismiss it. By the way, while I'm in the middle of this, I would like to say that you can actually customize all of these shortcuts and even add shortcuts that don't already exist. I have a video on how to do that in the description, and it'll show up right about now in a card above the video. You might know that right-clicking on the Windows title bar brings up this context menu, but what you might not have known is that you can do Alt-Space, and it'll bring you right to this context menu right away, so you can take your screenshot or whatever you're trying to do. If you constantly move your windows around and try to resize them, you might notice that trying to do so and trying to find the title bar and the edges to resize them can get a little bit time consuming, at least a little bit. You can type Alt F7 to start moving your window around right away. Even if your cursor isn't near the window, you can still do this and you'll be able to move the window around. You can also do Alt F8 to resize the window as well, which will automatically bring you to the resizing arrow. An even quicker way to move your window is no matter where you are on the window, you can just hold down the super key and just grab your window. This will turn your entire window into what the title bar is. So if you notice, the title bar can move the window, but everything else in the window, if you try to drag on it, it doesn't work. It doesn't move the window around. But you can turn the entire window into the moving button by just holding down the super key, and you can move it from wherever you want. You might know that holding down Function F11 can make your window go full screen, but if you do Alt F10, you can actually just only maximize it, so you don't have to go to the top and do this or double click on the Windows title bar. You can just do Alt F10. Now, a lot of the things with Alt require Function as well, so if your Alt F10 doesn't work, then try Function Alt F10 and it might work. All of these Alt F10s, all the Fs at the top, they all depend on how your keyboard layout is set up, so you might have to add the Function key or remove it if you're trying to use it. If you constantly move your windows to the sides, you will be glad to know that this shortcut, which actually matches with this shortcut that I just showed you, you can do Super and then left arrow, right arrow, up arrow, or down arrow. So what the left arrow does is it moves it to the left of the screen in split screen. Right arrow just moves it to the right. The down arrow unmaximizes it and undoes that, and up arrow maximizes it. So it's like that keyboard shortcut I just showed you, which is Alt F10. So it does the same thing as Alt F10. Most people who use the terminal know that doing Control Alt T opens the terminal right away for you. But if you didn't know that, that is a very good keyboard shortcut to learn. Here's one shortcut that I kind of have to show you because this is just something that Ubuntu always wants you to use, but no one actually uses it. You can do Function, Super, and F1, or just Super F1 depending on your layout. I honestly get no information from this help menu, but you might depending on how you're using Ubuntu. Keyboard shortcut that I find really useful is on your dock. You may notice that you have all your apps lined up. Well, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on which one you want, you can actually do super and that number. So if I wanted to open the terminal, I would just do super 3 because it's the third favorite added to the dock. So I would do super 3 and it brings me right to the terminal. And as you just saw, numbers popped up on the apps. So if I wanted to open settings, I know that this is 7, so I do super 7 and it brings me right there. If you want, I will make a part 2 to this video with even more good keyboard shortcuts. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and I will see you next time.